Welcome back to The Explainer. We spend so much time absolutely sweating over big financial decisions, mortgages, cars, investments, yet we kind of just completely ignore the tiny ones leaking right out of our digital wallets every single day. It's a silent drain on our wealth, and it affects almost all of us. Okay, let's dive into this. When we think about financial danger, we almost always picture things that are just loud, right? We're conditioned to fear catastrophic market crashes, unexpected medical bills, or a sudden job loss. But actually, a far more dangerous invisible threat usually arrives disguised as convenience. It creeps in softly, masquerading as a completely harmless thought, hey, it's only $5. And that phrase, it's only $5, is literally one of the most underestimated threats to long-term wealth in the US today. Why? Because it completely bypasses our brain's financial alarm system. It feels entirely psychologically invisible. We just don't brace ourselves for a $5 hit the way we do for a $500 one, do we? Now, a single $5 purchase means absolutely nothing on its own. If you only ever spent $5 once, you'd be totally fine. But here's the catch. It quickly morphs into a relentless behavioral pattern. It's the fancy coffee on Tuesday, an app upgrade to remove ads on Wednesday, a quick subscription add-on to watch that one show on Thursday, and a delivery fee on Friday. Suddenly, it repeats without any resistance at all. It's no longer just an isolated event. It is a full-blown system. Which brings us to the microtransaction trap, and exactly why $5 feels like absolutely nothing. So our brains actually take 3 specific psychological shortcuts here. Step 1 is low pain. At $5, your brain simply doesn't trigger the warning signals it normally uses for large expenses. Step 2 is zero physical friction. Just think about how digital payments completely collapse the emotional cost of spending. I mean, with cash, you literally felt the money leave your hand. Today, it's one tap, Face ID, boom, done. And step 3 is the harmless repetition illusion. Your brain treats each of these little events in isolation, totally failing to realize that finance works in accumulation. Okay, so let's look at the mathematics of only $5 and uncover the true cost of this silent drain. $1,825. If you spend just $5 a day on a microtransaction, this is your immediate yearly cost. Seeing it multiplied out by 365 days is usually enough of a reality check to shock anyone. But you know what? That immediate cost isn't even the scariest part. This is the real devastating gut punch right here. $220,000. That is the 30-year future value of that exact same daily $5 habit. If, instead of spending it, you'd invested it in a diversified index fund at a conservative 7% annual return. It's not that the $5 itself is so powerful. It's that time, plus consistency, plus compounding, magically transforms small money into massive money. And this brings us to a really absolutely crucial concept: opportunity cost. It is the invisible trade of future financial freedom for instant convenience today. See, every single small purchase contains 2 values. You've got the immediate value, the coffee, the digital upgrade, and the hidden future value, which is the potential investment growth you literally just forfeited. Most of us only ever see the first one, but lasting wealth, that's built by respecting the second. Moving on to the dopamine trap and how this kind of micro-spending is actually engineered. It's basically an endless loop, and it usually starts with a simple trigger, maybe stress from work or just late-night boredom. So you make a small, low-friction purchase. That purchase instantly delivers a quick hit of dopamine, a little rush of convenience or satisfaction. And that reward leads straight back into step 4, repetition. Over time, your logical financial discipline is quietly, almost imperceptibly replaced by emotional automation. And here's the thing. Modern digital companies understand one core tactic better than anyone. The easiest sale is the one that doesn't even feel like a decision. Our modern digital economies actively thrive on making revenue extraction completely invisible to you. If you have to pause and actually evaluate a purchase, well, they might lose the sale. But if it happens in the background, you never even question it. This is exactly why the $5 price point is weaponized against us. Companies intentionally break their products down into repeatable microcharges, like a $4.99 add-on, instead of just asking for a one-time upfront sale. Why do they do this? Well, because $5 just feels non-serious, right? It completely bypasses your budgeting scrutiny, it perfectly fits impulse buying psychology, and it sits just below your emotional resistance threshold. It is literally designed to fly under your radar. So we arrive at death by 1,000 cuts, and my traditional budgeting completely fails us here. Look, most budgeting tools are fantastic at tracking the big core needs, like rent, utilities, and groceries. But microspending completely overtakes a traditional budget because it hides away in those little miscellaneous buckets. It just blends right into the digital noise. All these subscriptions and sneaky little fees just auto-renew silently without ever alerting you. And this is exactly why your budget might look totally fine on paper, but then it completely collapses in reality. Because these leaks are so small individually, they bypass the discipline of strict categorization. They quietly ruin even the most carefully laid out financial plans because, well, you simply aren't tracking them as true expenses. But don't worry, let's talk about stopping the silent drain and how you can rewire your spending reflex. So here is how you actively fight back. First up, try the 10-minute rule. Just wait 10 minutes before making any non-essential small purchase and ask yourself, would I still buy this if I had to use physical hard cash? Second, audit your financial ghosts every single month. Hunt down those forgotten auto renewals and cancel them. Third, start reframing every $5 as your future capital. And fourth, intentionally add friction back into your life by turning off one-click payments. And this brilliantly illustrates how we can take our power back from the automated systems designed to drain us. Ultimately, though, stopping this drain requires a real identity shift. We have to stop being the passive, spontaneous consumer who constantly shrugs and says, it's only $5. Instead, we really need to become an allocator of capital, someone who is active and future-focused. A capital allocator looks at that exact same microtransaction and says, nope, this is $5 toward my future freedom. Remember, friction is not inconvenience. It is protection. Taking the time to remove your saved credit cards from your web browser, deleting Apple Pay from your watch, or setting up spending alerts on your phone might feel incredibly annoying at first. But you know what? That annoyance is precisely the point. It is your necessary armor against engineered, emotionally automated spending. Invisibility is more powerful than temptation. The real danger here was never actually the $5 amount. The real danger is living in a system where your spending is no longer felt, questioned, or tracked. Simply put, what you cannot see, you cannot control. And what you cannot control will quietly compound against you for decades. Which leaves us with one final, absolutely essential question to ask ourselves every single time we reach for our phones. What is your convenience really costing you? Think about that the next time you go to double-click that side button. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.